What's going on, guys? Alex here with 814EDC, and today I'm ready to do my full review on this quirky little knife, the Miguron Takog. So this is part of a little package that Kevin, Lefty DC, put together. It is consisting of the Miguron Takog and the Miguron Quirky, I believe is how you pronounce it. Little bundle group for us. But this video is specifically on the Takog. Takog, so however you pronounce that in your head is, however you pronounce it. But this thing is cool. Not the type of knife that I would probably go out and buy, but I'm glad to have gotten to check it out because I have seen it before on Amazon and a few other retailers. And I've been a little, kind of curious for it because at the price point it comes in at, I do think it's a very good value if you're into the aesthetic of this knife and, or kind of a budget-minded person. I think this is a fantastic knife for you. But for me, it's a little bit quirky, but it has a lot of good qualities. And Miguron, these are the first that I've ever handled. They have really good and exceptional build quality from what I've been able to see and test to. Action and fit and finish on both of these knives are excellent. And I hope to check more out in the future of Miguron because they have some other cool models that I think have been got a bug on me. Have been very popular and have had a lot of success. But yeah, this is the Takog, and this might be one of the quirkiest little knives that I've ever handled. So of course, we're gonna jump right into materials. You guys can see the Miguron logo right there. It is rocking some green G10 scales. And I just realized on the back side where the pivot screw is, you have a kind of brass colored pivot collar, but on this side you just have the logo with no collar around it. I did not notice that until now, but that's kind of intriguing why they decided to do that and not do it on one side versus not both sides. But as I drop my cap on the floor, but blade steel is 14C28N right there. It does have a single-sided thumb stud. I cannot talk today, guys. I apologize. A single-sided thumb stud. You probably could change it, but the way the handle was shaped over here, you'd have to kind of drill out a little bit yourself of the G10 for that to fit. So they are just keeping it with the one side right here, and it is milled out to get access right there. You do have a front flipper / top flipper, kind of like it has a little mohawk going on. Nice and chunky. This knife in general is pretty thick and chunky. I believe weight is right around 4 ounces, but this thing definitely fills your hands due to how thick it is. It's like thick with 3 C's. You have a backspacer right here. You have a loop over style deep carry pot clip right there. That is righty only carry. They cannot put that over there for lefty, which is intriguing. Yeah, the thumb stud is kind of like oversized. It's definitely big and thick. It's on bearings, liner lock with plenty of lock bar access. For internal milling, there are 3 pockets on the show scale side and 2 pockets on the liner lock side. You do have a lanyard hole back there. And the grind is hollow grind. But it does, it is a pretty thick stock. So it comes down to a hollow grind, and it's pretty thin, but you really don't have much, it's because up here you have flats, but then down here, like it just doesn't have a whole lot of travel to thin out. So like once you get past the edge, it kind of thickens up pretty quick, and then you get up here into this, thicker part of the blade. So it might not be the best slicer, or might not be the best, best blade to be putting through cardboard. The blade kind of has a little bit, it's a straight, I guess you call that a straight back, but the belly has an upsweptness to it. I'm not a huge fan of these styles of blades, but it does look good. But just for what I use a knife for, and for what I tend to put knives through, and that's not even a lot because I'm pretty easygoing with my knives. I just tend to avoid knives with upswept blades like this. But it is a very, very handsome looking knife, I think. Handsome but quirky at the same time. So I think that's all for materials. So we're gonna jump into action next. The action with the I cannot say that, guys. Single-sided thumb stud. That's like a tongue twister. Say that 10 times fast. Single-sided thumb stud. Single-sided thumb. Yeah, that is a mouthful. But the Single-sided thumb stud is good. You know, D10 is pretty snappy. You guys can hear it popping back into place. Flies right out of there. Of course, you cannot do any sort of middle finger flick with this knife. So you are, you know, pretty constricted to either slow rolling it out, which you can do. But I will give a little bit of notion. With this top flipper being so tall, a lot of times you have to be careful of where you're doing this at, because it will hit the back of your finger. As you're slow rolling it out, if your finger is up too far on the top of the blade, you know, you might be able to hit it. That's just something I kind of want to point out to you guys. But thumb flicking it is nice. Top flipping it works. You can kind of do the reach around thing. It's more of, you know, not necessarily I mean, you can front flip it, but it's really kind of a top flipper. It flies right out of there, bangs right out. It's a little awkward, if I'm being honest, but you know, you do get used to it the more you handle this knife. Is it my favorite front flipper in the world? Absolutely not by any stretch of the imagination. But it does work well, excuse me. You can't middle finger flick it if you are holding it in your left hand, so the thumb stud is on the other side, and that works well. So if you're a left-handed person and you're carrying this lefty, you can fire it out of there, which is nice. Then do that. Closing action closes your thumb, and it's not going to drop or anything from there. But one shake and you're home. One shake and you're home. A couple micro shakes if you're into that, but I typically just open it, drop it down your nail, bang, you're closed. Same over here, you can drop it to your nail. And also, if you are, so I tend to do this a lot with my, if I'm flicking it on my left hand, a lot of times I'll close it with my pointer finger, and it drops to your nail, and then just move it out of the way and shake it closed. But with this knife specifically, if you are too far up on the knife, you got to drop it. It can't go anywhere because of that top flipper. So that's just, you know, it's kind of in the way a little bit. It's not like end of the world, end all be all like this, you know, it sucks. But I don't know, I'm not a huge fan of how it just kind of hits you in the hand and hits you in, you know, different spots, and it makes it a little bit awkward. But there is a little bit of blade play. Not much at all, though. But yeah, for action, it's kind of meh. Like, I don't love it. I don't hate it. I'm kind of right in the middle about it. Have I held worse and have I flicked worse? Absolutely. But all in all, not my favorite. But, you know, the D10 is nice, and when you get a good flick on it, it is nice and snappy, but not my favorite. So next up is ergos. And I've already stated numerous times that this is a very thick knife. You know, you have plenty of real estate there, and it is thick, but it definitely feels the hand, and it feels very, you know, kind of comfortable. You do have a loop over style deep carry clip there that is kind of proud of the knife. So when I'm choked back on the knife, I can definitely feel it. When I'm choked up, I can feel it a little bit, but much less than how it was before. But choked back, it's a pretty neutral handle. I mean, it's pretty much a straight line back here. And back here, it is, you know, it has a little bit of curvature, obviously, and it kind of gets fatter towards the rear end. But choked back, I can get all four fingers on here very easily, but just enough poking out for an extra finger if I had it. But the real grip here is kind of using this landing choil area, choking up. You do have it's almost like a crown spine. It's not though, but it tricks your brain tricks you into thinking it is, just because of how thick the blade stock is. But choked up, definitely the go-to grip on this, because it moves your hand up out of the pot clip and does not make it as much of a hot spot. Lefty, it's very comfortable as well, and you can do some nice cutting with this. You know, pinch grip works pretty well, but again, it's just not my style of blade, excuse me, for what I tend to do with my knives. I just tend to stay away from this style of blade, but the hollow grind is nice. But again, you have such a short blade, and it's a pretty thick blade stock. So once you get up into that cut, it thickens out pretty quickly. And then by the top, it's pretty thick to get through there. Excuse me. So, you know, Ergos are good. Cutting experience is okay. It could be worse and it could be better. That's just kind of the theme of this knife. I feel like it could be worse, it could be better. But once I go over the price point at the end, it'll be kind of, you know, more worth it in my opinion, and probably your guys' opinion too. But all in all, Ergos are pretty good. Choked up, feels nice. Definitely have good control over whatever you're doing with this knife. So Ergos are pretty good. Next up is Carry. Now, I don't know why they cannot drill 2 holes for a lefty ability, lefty clip ability here, but they didn't. But for right-handed, drops into your pocket. You have no flipper tab or anything down here, so if you're going to be going down past it to get change, medicine, chapstick, anything like that, you have no flipper tab, no jimping to worry about going down beside it. And when you come about pulling the knife up out of your pocket, you do have jimping on the front flipper, but that is pointed down away from your hand, so that is good. It's all nicely contoured and rounded, no sharp edges, anything like that. Definitely appreciate that. It is a little stout, kind of thick knife, of course. Kind of thick. It is thick. But, you know, it doesn't weigh overall that much. It doesn't feel like a pocket brick in your pocket, or it's weighing your pockets out or anything like that. I haven't carried this a ton. You know, I've carried it enough to be able to get my thoughts on it and to be able to, you know, bring my thoughts to you guys on it. But other than that, you know, it's pretty much set on my knife case, other than the handful of times I carried it for review purposes. I don't know. I like the knife, but I don't love it. I just much rather carry other stuff that I have in for review. But, you know, is it the worst knife to carry in the world? No, it just is kind of stout and stocky and thick, and I don't know. It's not bad, but it's not great. And again, that's kind of the theme of the whole knife. So that takes me to my final category of price point and would I recommend this knife. Price point on the Miguron Takog is $39 and I believe 99 cents. So 40 bucks on this. I saw it on Amazon. I saw it on White Mountain Knives. I believe White Mountain Knives is out of stock for both this version and the Black G10 version, but I'm still going to leave a link down below to it because you can get really good specs from White Mountain Knives, and if you keep an eye on it, eventually it will come back into stock, and you guys can use a 10% off code, which will make it like 35 bucks. But regardless, you know, sub 40 for a knife with 14C28N, nice micarta, or excuse me, I keep saying micarta. Nice G10, has a nice grip to it, loop over style deep carry pod clip. Decent action, not the best action in the world, but decent. Good fit and finish. I will say, you know, I don't love this knife nearly as much as the other Miguron that I'm going to review for you guys, but I will say Miguron does make a good product. They have good fit and finish. They have good tolerances. Their detents are on point. I just don't like the design of this, and I don't like how thick it is. But for 40 bucks, less than 40 bucks, I really can't say you can go wrong with this. If you like, let's just put it this way. If you like the way this knife looks from an aesthetic standpoint and you have 40 bucks to spend on it and you're a knife guy, buy the damn knife. Because odds are you're going to like it. If you like single-sided thumb studs, there I said it. You're probably going to like this knife. If you like budget knives, you're probably going to like this knife. If you like, you know, this style of blade, it is comfortable. While it is thick and, you know, stout, it is comfortable in hand. You can choke up with it. You know, just not my style of knife, but I can definitely not knock anybody for trying it, and I can recommend it for the price point that it comes in at. 40 bucks I think is a fantastic value for 14C bearings, nice G10, loop over style deep carry clip, pretty solid action. You know, it's not the best but not the worst. You guys are probably tired of hearing me say that, but all in all, for 40 bucks I don't think you can go wrong. So just not my cup of tea, but I am glad to have gotten to check it out through the passaround group. So, but I'm going to wrap this up, guys. This was my full review on the Miguron Knives Takog, whatever you want to call it. Good knife, maybe. Bad knife, no, just not for me. But I am glad to have checked it out. So thank you to Kevin for adding this to a passaround group. Again, Kev, always appreciate you always giving us new products and new knives to check out. I've gotten so much content from Kev. You guys probably wouldn't have seen 30 videos if maybe, you know, if I didn't get some knives in from Kevin and the Lefty passaround. But I'm going to wrap this up now because it's one of those days where I'm stumbling over my words, I'm rambling, and I just want to get these videos banged out for you guys, and I'm going to try not to make them any longer than I have to do, so I have to be. So I'm going to wrap this up. But thank you guys again so much for watching. I always appreciate each and every one of you. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your morning, evening, night, whenever you're watching this, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.